Hi, I'm George for Mist and Stone. I want to wish you all a blessed Imbolc and a happy Saint Brigid's Day, whatever your tradition. Let's look at one thing first while we're on that particular subject. Imbolc and Saint Brigid's Day are not the same thing. In fact, strictly speaking, they're not even on the same day. We kind of live in an age of lazy solutions and the ubiquitous Google. So people look things up on Google and straight away they're told Imbolc 1st of February, Imbolc 1st of February, all that. And to be fair, most modern pagans celebrate Imbolc on Saint Brigid's Day, the 1st of February. It's convenient. First thing is that Imbolc predates the Gregorian calendar. So it isn't worked out in that sense by days. Imbolc is the midday between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. That's moved slightly. Both of those move slightly. In actual fact, it's, I think, impossible for Imbolc to actually be the 1st of February. It's usually, if you take it strictly speaking as the midpoint between those two, which it should be, it's usually somewhere between the 2nd and the 7th of February. By my calculations this year, that is the 5th of February. The cross-quarter days are not just arbitrary mathematical calculations. They all coincide with observable and noticeable changes in the weather, the length of the day and the landscape itself. Imbolc is the festival marking the beginning of spring. Yes, spring. This is the first day of spring. No matter what modern changes that there are, you can't actually change the changing seasons of the year. And February 1st is the first day of spring. I go into that in another video about the seasons, so I won't go into it all again now. It's been celebrated since ancient times. Imbolc derives from the old Imbolc, meaning in the belly, the time when the ewes came to milk and the first flowers appear, and when the day noticeably lengthens. Bedeutung, the cross-quarter day, halfway between spring equinox and summer solstice, marks the beginning of summer, and with the trees coming into leaf. Lunacy, halfway between summer solstice and autumn equinox, marks the beginning of the harvest when the crops are ripe and ready for reaping. And Samhain, halfway between autumn equinox and winter solstice, marks the beginning of winter, the death of vegetation, the falling of the leaves, and the rapid shortening of the days that begin at lunacy. The cross-quarter dates are distinct visual clues to the changing of the seasons and the changing pattern of the year, and can be related to agriculture. The builders of the Neolithic monuments of Ireland were the country's first farmers. The Mound of Hostages of Tara is a Neolithic passage tomb, about the same age as Newgrange, which is over 5,000 years old. So the cross-quarter days were important to Neolithic or New Stone Age people who aligned the chamber with the Imbolc and Samhain sunrises and the cross-quarter days between autumn equinox and the winter solstice. Last year, 2023, the first Monday in February was given as a bank holiday status. The last of the cross-quarter festivals to be designated, the other three, Bedeutung, Lunacy and Samhain, were already bank holidays. This day was allocated to thank health workers and so on for their work during COVID. And it's quite an appropriate day to be given for health workers, as Brigid, the goddess and the saint who covers this period, one of her attributes is healing. The fact that Saint Brigid's Day is celebrated on the 1st of February is most likely a convenience of the Gregorian calendar. The fact that it falls close to the date of Imbolc is significant and probably tells us something of the probable common origins of both celebrations. Just as Christmas Day falls 4 days after the winter solstice, the Christian Church put the winter solstice, put the Christmas celebration onto the already existing Yule winter solstice celebration. The Christian Church in Ireland put Saint Brigid's Day onto the already existing festival for the beginning of the spring of Imbolc. And Easter is another one. Easter is calculated, wait for this, as the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. So winter is calculated off the Easter is calculated off the old pagan celebration for the spring equinox. So a lot of the Christian festivals were placed onto already existing pagan festivals. I haven't an issue with that. It makes perfect sense to put the Christian festival that celebrates a certain aspect of the year onto the already existing pagan festival at that time. In early Celtic times, around 2000 years ago, Imbolc was a time to celebrate the Celtic goddess Brigid or Brigid or any of the various pronunciations that are associated with her name. She was the goddess of inspiration, healing and smithcraft, with associations to fire, the heart and poetry. When Ireland was Christianised in the 5th century, the mantle of the goddess Brigid passed to Saint Brigid, born at Foward near Dundalk, County Louth. She founded a monastery in Kildare and ended her days there. The goddess Brigid festival was Christianised to become Saint Brigid's Day, as was a lot of the wells, and Brigid is also associated with water, and a lot of the goddesses in our culture were associated with water and rivers and so on. And the police station, the Bridewell, is Brigid's well. A lot of the old wells that were dedicated to the goddess were rededicated to the Christian Saint Brigid. So you have a lot of Brigid's wells around the country where Christians celebrate Saint Brigid, but those wells predate Saint Brigid and were originally dedicated to the goddess. Saint Brigid's cross is an archetypal symbol of Ireland. While it is considered a Christian symbol, it will more than likely have its roots in pre-Christian goddess Brigid. If you look at it, it's a bit like the top of a Celtic cross. It's a solar cross. It has 4 equal arms, where the crucifix obviously has one longer piece. The Celtic cross is a similar thing, where that particular symbol was an old pagan symbol, and they simply popped it on top of an upright and made the solar cross into a crucifix. It's usually made for rushes, and it comprises a woven square in the centre with 4 radials at the end, as I say, 4 equal radials. In Christian mythology, Saint Brigid and her cross are linked together by a story about her weaving this form of cross at the death of a pagan chieftain who, upon hearing what the cross meant, asked to be baptised. Gerald of Wales reported in the 12th century that accompanying nuns attended an inextinguishable fire at Kildare in Brigid's honour. Although it had been kept burning for 500 years, it had produced no ash. Men were not allowed near the fire. That really smacks of pre-Christian. The whole fire and attending an eternal flame really smacks of pre-Christian ritual. Also, according to myth, Saint Brigid travelled to Glastonbury and set up a small chapel on Breed's Mound. She's one of the 4 holy people celebrated with a small stone monument at Glastonbury Tercentennial Labyrinth. Brigid can also be linked to a much older goddess, Danu. The term you will have heard in Irish mythology, the Tuatha Danann, mean the people of the goddess Danu. And Danu was probably brought to Ireland by the Celtic migration into Ireland in the first place. Certainly some of the stories associated with Saint Brigid are echoes of an ancient story of the goddess Dana. It's, as I said, Dana was probably brought to Ireland along with the people who came at that particular migration, who were herdsmen and so on, which explains a lot of the other rituals around Imbolc and Bedeutung in particular. Dana was their fertility goddess, whose powerful energy revitalised the earth each spring. There are stories of seeds waiting to the pressure of her feet, and the flowers springing up where her cloak touches the fields. Dana is most definitely a fertility goddess in the tradition of the Greek goddess Demeter. I will be doing another video on the divine feminine, looking at all the various goddesses from different traditions. She was the powerful personification of fertility, and in Celtic mythology her marriage to the sun god Lu combined the elements of light, heat and water, which brought life to the fields in springtime. Dana's name means water. Without water nothing can grow. For the Celts, she was the image and essence of life itself. She's the prototype of the medieval Saint Brigid, who controlled weather, cured infertility, blessed the housewife's labour and increased the farmers' herds. Hi, now I had a bit of a walk out earlier on, and I went to Sandymount and I managed to get a few rushes, I think they are. They're not strictly speaking what's usually used, although anything is used, anything like this can be used to make a Brigid's cross. Down the country where they're plentiful, reeds are used. I don't know where I can get reeds in Dublin. If somebody knows, please drop it down in the comments. These are a wide grass. I slit them down the middle because when it's wide it doesn't work too well, it slips all over the place. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to make a Brigid or Brigid or Saint Brigid's cross. The Brigid or Brigid's cross most likely predates Christianity. It's a solar cross. It's 4 equal points, where the crucifix obviously has a long and a short. The Celtic cross is a bit similar. The original top of the Celtic cross would have been pre-Christian, and they basically stuck it on a pole and made it into a crucifix. Why not? I've no issue with that. The same with the Brigid's cross, because of the cruciate symbol. Christianity was bound to use it as well, and it was attributed to Saint Brigid. So basically what you do is you get one piece, a reed or rush or whatever you make it with, and you hold it there. We say north, south, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whichever you want. Now you get another one and you bend it roughly in the centre. Now I'm doing this one to show you, but in the true tradition of, here's one I prepared earlier, I've pre-bent a few of these because they're tricky little things to handle when you're bending them, and that's an idea. If you have reeds or rushes, pre-bend a few of them in the middle so that when you're doing it you're not having to hold this and try and bend them and all at the same time. So the first one goes, if we're using the clock face, which is probably the easiest rather than north, south, east and west, this one goes to 3 o'clock. Now the next one, as you can see I've pre-bent, goes to 6 o'clock. Now this is the trickiest part. At this stage you've got to hold it fairly tight to get your weave. Now the next one goes to 9 o'clock. Now once you put the 9 o'clock one in, now you have to hold it tight or it'll just slide all over the place. But once you put the 9 o'clock one in, it's simply a matter of turning counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, widdershins, whichever you want to call it. It's simply a matter of turning counterclockwise. And after that, everything goes to 9 o'clock. So your next one goes in and it goes to 9 o'clock. Keep it there. counterclockwise. Alright. Now, your next one, again, 9 o'clock. Now, see the thing with this one, with what we're using here, the thing with what we're using here being flat, keep it flat on the table, the thing with what we're using here being flat rather than round is the weave will tend to pull in over itself, where a round reed wouldn't. But it gives you the idea of how to make it. So the next one again, we go 9 o'clock. Oh, we've done that actually. We turn counterclockwise, like this, and we go 9 o'clock again. I'm keeping this flat to the table because it's the easiest way with this stuff to keep it flat. Right, we go counterclockwise again. Then when that's in, we turn and go counterclockwise again. Actually, I'm going to pick it up, it's easier. So here we go, counterclockwise again. And then we turn, hold it in, nine o'clock again, turn, counterclockwise, 9 o'clock again, turn counterclockwise, 9 o'clock again. The weave on this is a bit harder to keep together because it's flat and they tend to want to slide over each other. But it gives you an idea of how to achieve the cross shape and the weave. With this requires a little bit more straightening out than it would if you were using round reeds, which will stay in their place and won't slide over each other. So we turn again counterclockwise, and we will do one or two more. Again, slide it in, try and keep your weave together. Now we'll do one more because this time I want to show you how best way to finish. Now when we're putting this last one in, take it here, we put it up over this, but what we do is we pull this one back down. The last one before this that you put in, you pull it back down and you feed this one, instead of going over it like you normally would, you feed it through. That last one there, you feed it through the centre of it. It's a bit tricky, especially with this stuff, because it's very slippy. Do it one at a time. Put that through there, and that holds it a bit tighter in place. I let that go a bit crazy. As I said, not the best material. It gives you the idea of how to achieve the weave and so on. But it's not the best material to do it. Now when we get it all in together, tighten it all in together, it looked like it had escaped on me there, didn't it, for a while? But you now can see that weave there in the centre. If you're using something round, it will do that a lot better. Turn this way. Now, yeah, that's your main single one there in the centre. Now you should be able to see the weave there, how you achieve your square in the centre. Now when we have this, we get ourselves some small pieces of elastic. Go a good bit down, I would recommend, because these can all be, well, these ones I have, I didn't really cut them all to the same size, so they can be a bit, you could miss one. So I'd go a good bit from the edge, tie it off. This one here. Tie it off. Bent arthritic fingers. I'm not the best for this job either, I'm afraid. But these are the joys of getting older. Snip this one off. And tie this one off. I probably should have allowed myself a more generous piece of elastic here, especially given my sausage fingers, but we're getting there. Now, when you have that done, pull it nice and tight. You can make it neat by taking off all the evening off all these edges here. And the last one. And your excess wool, elastic. I just happen to have a few bits of elastic there. Elastic's handy because you can actually pull it into place a lot better. If it's too near the edge, pull it down a bit, or vice versa, because there's more give in it. But wool, string, you can even use bobbins, anything that will tie it off. And then tighten it up here. That could be a lot tighter, but we've got the idea of your basic Saint Brigid's cross. These end ones, you might, if you're using this stuff, as I say again, if you're using reeds, you won't have the same problem with this. They'll stay in a lot tighter. And there it is, your Saint Brigid's cross. It's fairly simple to do, even though I managed to make it look more complicated than it actually is. Children will enjoy making them if you want to get the children to make them. It's a simple process. Once you get your 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock in, 3, 6, 9 o'clock in, then all you have to do is keep turning clockwise, 9 o'clock, counterclockwise, sorry, 9 o'clock, counterclockwise, 9 o'clock. And you have your Brigid's cross. Hang it above your portal, your doorway, to protect the house. Our ancestors really believed in protecting the portals. There is a tree prong, for the want of a better word, triscula type of weave as well, which is fairly simple to do with this material. So that's your Brigid's cross, and I hope you enjoyed the whole video, and I hope you enjoyed this piece on making the Brigid's cross. Have a blessed Imbolc, Lá Féile Brigid, Saint Brigid's Day, and I hope the fertility that the new spring brings comes into your life in every aspect over the next year. Slán. Goodbye.